Welcome to Fresh Perspectives Only. This episode is going to be with Yossi Kotler, who is a fantastic artist. And as you'll see, he's got a very strong sense of self and what he's doing. It was a really inspiring conversation for myself. We started off by exploring his latest adventure in the NFT digital art space and how that community has kind of changed what he's done. Kind of then move into where he gets his inspiration from and how he defines himself and what he does. He's got quite an interesting background, kind of has meandered through several different activities, but he always draws inspiration in the same way, and he always expresses himself in the same way. So it's a really interesting part of the conversation. Then we get into how his art is very layered. He kind of grabs in different tools in his toolbox and kind of plays around with them. A multi-layered artworks, multi-layered experiences, and it's really fascinating to see how he explains it and how we talk about it. He's got two pieces up on portion.io. First one is called Self-Awareness. Second one is called Insight Expression. You can also go to his Instagram. His Instagram's got his link tree up in his description, where you can access all of his other NFTs, any of his canvas pieces, and any press that he's got there. So definitely check out the two pieces he's got on Portion, and as well as the other pieces that he displays on his social media as you're listening to the conversation or afterwards. But with that, we'll go over to the conversation with Yossi, starting with his NFT art experience.
Collections in many people around the world, from Sydney, Australia. I have in Taiwan. I have in Shanghai. I have also in the Emirates. All these countries. I have in Europe. I have in South Africa. I have in Canada. I have so many collectors in USA, England. You name it. I'm spread all over the globe. The globe. So for years. And basically I'm on the NFT since, like everyone, since the announcement of Beeple, it was like in February or March or something, beginning of March. So, like everyone, I was, open my eyes, hey, what's going on? And because I've seen a friend of mine who is a well-known NFT artist, his name is Dario, that he was doing canvas, like me, for years. And suddenly I saw that he's sharing Clubhouse, screenshots, drop party here, drop party there. And then I was start to talk with him and, to understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that immediately it's affecting all the traditional online market that I'm in, for years. I saw suddenly that something is changed, something is stopped, and I said, wow, something is new here, something is changing the whole perspective of the art world and everything, and I have to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I cannot, wait to see what's going on, and maybe it will be a bubble, not bubble. I'm there, and and it's funny because, I'm with a lot of experience as an artist for years. And with the beginning, I did all my mistakes, of course, and it's okay to make mistakes, without mistakes, you don't learn anything in life. And I did mistakes with prices, and I did mistakes with editions. And, I was trying to figure out, I come with the vanity of a successful artist for years, selling my canvas with success. And, with prices that in the beginning, I said, well, if I'm selling this canvas for thousands of dollars, I cannot sell an NFT for $400. It was my early days in the canvas world that I was selling, canvas for $400. And then I saw, well, the high prices are not moving, because, and then I start, to go and to be involved and go to Clubhouse and to see Twitters and I have a big account on Instagram, but then I understand that the Twitter is the king in the NFT. It's the Twitter where is the whole battlefields of the NFT market. But, as I'm telling on Clubhouse to many people, don't put the Instagram behind because it belongs to Facebook, and Facebook will never let anyone they will never let Twitter to control the market, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so and now all the friends are there and you know building their accounts on Instagram and stories every day and blah blah blah. And
So
what?
yeah,
Please.
so you mentioned your kind of early on canvas pieces, and I think you said you've been kind of working professionally for what was it, 10 years?
Yeah,
What was what was that starting process like 10 years ago? Was there a particular piece that was the first one that you sold?
I mean, I came from the brand design industry before. I was for many years a self-employee for and very successful, by the way. I gained awards for my designs and I was traveling all over the world to see suppliers and exhibition. You know, living the good life of you know of brand designer, very successful. And suddenly everything's finished in 2010. And then I've become a selfpreneur, you know, and start with my business. I didn't know how it will be in the beginning. It wasn't an easy way in the beginning, you know, to start as an artist. And but you know, I've believed in myself, and I start to explore my style, my voice, my way. And then I was opening a shop. My first shop was on Etsy, and then you know on other platform like Sachi, Singulars, and every post that I was creating with my art, I was sharing in like 10 different social media platforms. So I was pushing myself, you know, all the time, all over. And then I start to see that people are reacting to my art, and people are sharing my art on and taking my art and making video clips with music on YouTube and people are talking about my art, something unique. And, you know, I start to see there is a lot of buzz around my style, you know, it's because what I did, and it was very colorful, very, very abstractive, but with, you know, with elements that are very realistic, you know, like drawing the face, very realistic with all the abstract behind. And basically I'm dealing with human beings because human beings are interesting, you know, and everything about human psychology. This is what I try to bring in all the emotions and everything, you know, in my art. And yeah, so you know, and my style start to get developed, you know, year after year. You know, I was exploring, and then I find my technique, my unique technique to create my art. Which part of it I'm not telling to anyone. It's my how you say it's the Coca-Cola recipe, you know.
The secret ingredients.
Yeah, the secret ingredients, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because people all the time want to know the technique, and I tell them, look, you know, people DM me on Instagram every day, so many artists, how you do this, how you do that, and I tell them it's not about how I do this and what is that. It's about what is your voice, what is your story, what is your style. It doesn't matter. It's not about copying somebody else and you're gonna be successful. No, it's not about that. You know, find your way, find your technique, find your secret. You know, and bring them, share with that with the world. You know, you don't have to copy somebody else to know how you did it. I know. I go today on Clubhouse. People ask artists, and tell me how you did it. What programs you use it? Who cares what program you use it? You like it? You say well, it doesn't matter. You know, just find your way. This is more important. This is your voice is more important. Your signature is more important. You know,
Totally
what
agree
you
with you.
what
Totally.
what is your uniqueness? Because life is about uniqueness, not about sameness. And people all the time try to be the same, not unique. And this
I
is
couldn't agree with you more on that, Yossi. I have there's three things that I think of when I think of a fine artist or an artist in general. And skill and technique is certainly one of them. It's very important to master that. But then the other two aspects of it that I think is kind of the intention that the artist has behind what they are doing. And then the third would be the story, is like how you communicate both of those two synergies together, the skill matched with the intention and what you're trying to do. And exactly what you're saying, it's not necessarily like, sure, different techniques, different programs you can use, and it's good to master those, but it's also Really important to have that intention and story behind it too. So I couldn't agree with you more. On that note, so you have kind of the realistic representations, mostly of female figures within a lot of your pieces, but then you have the marrying of the really abstract lines and coloring. So as you're thinking through a new piece, or as you're, actually working on it, what about that kind of, realism of a face figure match with these kind of abstract, colorful lines? What's going through your head as you're kind of developing them?
I mean, I'm doing a mixed media, like mixed media art. I mix many layers. I'm creating a process of many layers. I'm living in an area that is in nature. I'm surrounding by fields and everything. So every day I'm doing my practicing every day, morning in the fields, every day. So I walk there and I see things and suddenly there is a spark and something, that shine to me, and I'm looking at it and I photo it, and it start to develop a creative process inside me. I don't know what will come. And then I start to draw, physically to draw things, to draw the face and to draw everything. And then I after I creating many layers, I bring them to the digital, and I mix them with the digital, and then I work on them physically again. And so I created a very interesting, it's quite long process, but this is how I bring my style to the world. This is how I create my language, So through the work, layers by layers, they're becoming all these colors, all these textures interesting, and everything is becoming very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and reveal itself through the process, It's not that I can know for sure how it's going to look in the end, I start something, I don't know what will be the outcome. Sometimes the outcome is I've meant I wanted to do something and something else came, it's by mistakes, it's by the mistake was really beautiful, and this is the outcome.
You
But
mentioned, so you're living in kind of a nature part of
yeah,
the
yeah,
world. Was
yeah.
that the case? Was that the case when you were the kind of the brand designer? Just curious if that sort of inspiration that you talked about, of like walking out in nature and kind of getting sparks of inspiration, has that kind of always been there for you?
No, actually, I was living when I was a brand designer, I was living many years in the city, by the way.
Mm.
The place where I live now is the place where I grew up as a child, But after that, I was many years in the city, but then I moved back here 4 years ago.
Okay.
And no, I mean, look, inspiration is a very unique process that people don't understand how it's done inside our gray area. But it's not that you see something and I'm gonna do it, and this is inspire me. No, it's not. People use the word inspiration in a wrong way. By the way, you inspire me. It's not. I think you can. Everything around us can inspire us. Can bring us many ideas, many concepts, many colors, and it's also basically how you feel inside of yourself. Because how you feel inside of yourself in life, it's what you reflect outside in everything you do. Okay, and not the opposite. Okay, because we respond to what is happening. What life brings us, we respond to that. So basically, I'm sharing what I'm doing. What is my art? This is the tool to share my awareness, my consciousness awareness with the world. I do it through art. I can do it through many things. I'm also a martial artist, so I can share it through martial art. I'm doing many things. It's not that I'm not define myself as an artist. I'm Yossi Kotler. I can I can share with you my awareness through art. And I can share with you my awareness through human design. And I can share you my awareness through martial arts. And I can share my awareness. There are so many tools that we can share ourselves with the world. And art is a part of it that I can share with you. But, you know, because many people, what the mistake they do in life, that they are identify themselves through what they are doing. You know, for a lawyer, so for example, a lawyer identify himself as a lawyer. And what happens the day that he's not a lawyer? He's losing his identity. So first of all, you are Carson. This is who you are, you know, and you can do so many things in life, you know. But it's good to identify with what you do, but not identify yourself with that. You understand the difference? If I'm doing art, I have to identify with that, because this is the way to create my art and to enjoy it and to bring my creativity to the world. But it's not, I'm an artist and, you know, it's like people say in Clubhouse, I'm an NFT artist. No, NFT, it's a non-fungible token. You are not a non-fungible token. You know, you are a person who make digital art, you know, and you can sell it as an asset in the blockchain, but you can also sell these assets for somebody else that he can print it and make it on a wall in a restaurant, you know. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I tell them, you're artists, you create art, but don't define yourself as an NFT artist. NFT is a market that you should learn it. You should be an expert in that, and you should study this in order to be a successful artist in that market. You have to learn it. But it's not that you are an NFT, you are a digital artist. You know, people who do digital arts, or doesn't matter, people who do art, you know, in the NFT, you see artists that they do traditional artworks like me, and you see artists that only do digital by animation and everything. You know, you have all different kind of artists. But it's not that, you know, it's not that you have to say, I'm an NFT artist. I don't believe in that. I'm an artist. And I can create a digital art and put it in the blockchain, as an NFT, you know. This is how I see it. This is my perspective about that.
I love that. It's pretty, I mean, I feel like it's a very freeing way in a sense to go about life that way, because then your worth, your views of the world are not necessarily predicated on specific actions or specific definitions. It's much more you're Yossi, and it's exactly what you just said. Have you always had that?
And also, Carson, it's bring diversity. You know, it's not it's not closet. It's wide. You know, and also, you know, you look in the NFT market. As an artist, you also become a collector, because, you know, because you have so many artists now and not many collectors. So the competitions on the collectors are is a big competition between artists, you know, so-called competition on collectors, on the eye of the collectors. But it starts in the beginning, artists want to support artists, but then you become a collector, you understand, wow, there is a business here, you know, I can sell my art, and also I can buy art of other and sell them in the second market, you know. So there is also a process learning to become a collector. I've never been a collector in my life, you know, only someone who's selling my art, that's it. So it's also something new for me in this world, you know.
Oh, absolutely. So you as Yossi, you're going from, you're a brand designer, then you became then you kind of started to produce canvas art. And now you're kind of entering the NFT digital space, and then you also want to think about the collector space. So back onto the theme of, you're not defined as a specific role. You are Yossi, right?
Yeah.
When you go and approach like a new adventure, like maybe you've never been a collector before. When you approach a new challenge like that, as you, what are some of the things you're thinking about? You know, for example, is it when you moved from brand design to starting your art on canvas? What was that thought process like? When you're approaching the new NFT space, what is that process like of you approaching a new challenge?
it's new. It's something new to discover, something new to study, something new to learn. You know, there are many days that I feel that even with all my experience for years as an artist, I'm a beginner in the NFT. You know, because I understand that, and I also read some blogs. You know, there are very interesting bloggers in the I see on Twitter, and one of them, his name is Mati. He's a very serious blogger, and he's writing about the industry, about artists, about collectors, about everything. And he says, and this is I believe in that because this is my approach in everything I do in life. It's a long way process. I mean, that's what I'm telling to many people. It's a long way process. If you don't have a long breath, and to take this road, then you have nothing to do here, and it's very exciting because one day in the NFT is like 1 month in the traditional art world, or in the outside, it's very dynamic, it's very volatile, and it's very, everything changed so fast, and new technologies, new artists, new collectors, new everything. Every day you meet something new, and artists that are already like 4 or 5 months in this NFT industry, they're becoming even better, and they're becoming more creative because you see so many creative people in so many, it's crazy, and you see them on Instagram pages, and you see them on Twitter, and you meet them on Clubhouse, and they are and everybody's proving themselves, all the time. They bring more creativity, more new things, more techniques, and it's so for many people it can become very very stressful, this kind of process, and not everyone is built for this kind of pressure. But I think it's very fascinating, It's very fascinating, and it's also pushing me to discover new directions, and all the time, to bring this or that, to try. I never done animation in my art. It's the first time I'm doing some art with animation, So it's something new for me, that I've created. So it's very interesting, very, it's kind of can be a very competitive surrounding,
The competitive nature of it is pretty drastic, I feel like, especially with the rate of how NFTs are kind of evolving. One of the things that I sometimes struggle with when I'm looking at kind of either photographers or artists or things like that, and kind of looking and appreciating others' work, and then kind of self-reflecting on where I'm at and where I want to go. And sometimes it can be, I think it could be a fine line of seeking inspiration, but then having that pressure build up, maybe making it and more of a negative pressure, kind of saying, wow, all of these people are doing these amazing works of art, and where am I at? How am I progressing? And that pressure, like you said, it can be real. So as you do explore these different arenas, what is your balance like of seeking new techniques and inspiration as looking at what others are doing, but then also not losing your art process and your perspective? How do you make that balance of finding new things and looking at what others are doing, but then also kind of taking some of those individual aspects and making them your own?
Okay, this is a good question because I'm also a human design analyst, and I've learned for many years not to compare myself to anyone, and not to be in this competition, And I'm very aware for my abilities and capabilities, and I believe in myself and in my style and in my way, So I don't try to copy from others. The opposite is happening, People copy my my concepts. I see also people in the NFT that that looking at my concept and some artists and try to bring that. I don't do that. I can look at people, but if I, I can see that maybe, for example, they use, I don't know, more neon color, so maybe, but so I'm not going to do what other people do now. I have a design of creative person. I never follow other people what they do. It's always the opposite. People follow what I do. This is what happened to me all my life. So I've always was kind of a leader in what I did. And like a pioneer what I did with my techniques and so yeah, I try to to look what is going on, but and to be updated, but not to to take real elements from other people, because you start to see mostly in many collectibles that people are using also the same elements. It's become boring. All these collectibles of 10,000, they start to be the same, more of the same. I mean, okay, different shape, different elements, but most of, they're going to make the eyes with the lasers, and they're going to make, you start to see it so often. So many elements you start to see the same, in many artists do the same. And I don't like it. I think it's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
People, that's what I said in the beginning. It's about uniqueness, not about sameness. And you start to see in the NFT a lot of uniqueness, but you see many same elements.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
So going back to, because you've mentioned your art is much more, it's multimedia, multi-layers.
yeah.
And I'm assuming each of those layers, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming each of those layers were kind of introduced on an individual basis. Maybe you started with canvas and then you added, a little bit of animation, and then you added some other features, right? So I'm sure that those have kind of come and gone over the years as you've kind of, developed your techniques. Was there a particular aspect of your art or your process, not the whole thing, but was there a particular part of it that when you introduced it, you just got super excited and you thought it kind of transformed the way you do your artwork? Was there any particular aspect that you got really excited about?
I mean, look, I'm coming from as a brand designer. I also did campaigns for big companies. So I was in the field. I was in the commercial industry, So I did commercials, and I did commercial ads and everything, and also brand design. I was also a product designer. I did many things as a designer, and every time in every field that I was very excited about what I'm doing, about discovering new things. That's what makes me very successful, because I never, how you say, I don't know how to say this word. Sometimes you reach to a level and you lay down, and life keep going, I never, I never lay, down and waiting, I'm all the time looking for the next thing, the next way, the next technique, the next look, the next, how I take what I'm creating to the next level. And I've heard from many friends of mine that all the time my artists get developed to new directions. And this is what I like, because, for example, I've shared my art every day on Instagram. And I see the reaction, I see how people comment, and I see the likes, and I see and people are suddenly they see, I'm sure, with animation. They never saw with animation before the NFT, my art with animation. So something
Right.
new for them. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it's very interesting for me, and I think it's bring a lot of opportunities. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not studying program. animation programs, all this Blender and all this kind of. If I need something complicated, I can contact or some other artist in the NFT that is good in animation, and we can collaborate on something like that. I prefer to concentrate in develop the concept and not in the technique, of doing that, putting hours, moving here, that. No, it's not. Never did that. I always took people to do it if I need.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, that's an interesting point. Kind of veering more towards the NFT space specifically. I feel like there's a lot more ability for artists globally, right? We're in two very different places right now, but with the emphasis being on NFTs and digital art space, at least for the moment, it seems that there's a lot of room for more intricate collaboration between pieces of artwork. And like you just said, it's like you're able to reach out to more artists. So have you found yourself, since you've kind of been involved with the NFTs, have you been do you feel like you've been reaching out to more artists to collaborate than what you did previously?
First of all, I think on the first day on Clubhouse, I got 2 invitations for collaboration. 2 different artists. So was also an interesting experience. And definitely those artists have a lot of to learn about how to collaborate, because also to know how to collaborate, it's a process, that you have to learn how to collaborate with the other person, the expectation, what you bring, what I bring, how we do it, how we share it to the world, all the business behind, how we, now the platform as an option, you have an OpenSea, you have a foundation, you have a collaboration, so you can share wallets, so everybody can, you don't have to pay from, for someone that did the collaboration with you, and you have a contract for collaboration. You have so many aspects of that. And also, I know, for example, I have a new collaboration that I'm doing with Johnny now. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I think you see many collaboration. I think many artists also, some very, very selling artists in the space doing all the time collaboration, because it's an opportunity for them to expand their art in more directions and to take their art to a next level, because sometimes somebody who see your art can take it with, I don't know, with these techniques to a different level, So it can, yeah. So I think collaboration can bring a lot of interesting new creativity, and this is what you see in the NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, look, I built for collaboration in a way that for me it's more easy that to sell my art through collaboration. That's why I'm working with online galleries. They bring the collector, the clients, and I bring my art. What I saw here in the NFT that I have to be like a solo, but I found collaboration with people who share my art, tweet my art all the time on Twitter. I share their art, I tweet their art. This is how we all find collectors. This is how we spread, how we share ourselves, So it's only come through collaboration. So collaboration can be on creating art together, and collaboration can be on share each other for other people, for the world, in order to bring collectors to look at us,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Collaboration is in many aspects here,
Absolutely. On the collaboration bit too, because you can, as you look at different artists, you could kind of envision ways that you could work together, but then it also allows you to kind of shift the focus from, at least from time to time, away from what you're doing, and then kind of try to understand other people's perspectives, other artists' perspectives, and how theirs and yours could jive together. So not necessarily a specific artists per se, but outside of your work, kind of what are some of the either genres or styles of artwork that you like to go view and appreciate?
You mean other artists? I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know. There are some artists that it will be interesting to check to see how it will look together. I can't remember names now, but some people say, "Why don't you make with Dario? Or why don't you make with some people like that?" I don't know. Maybe it will happen, but it's. I think first of all, it's built on trust. Mm-hmm. Trust between the two people, and you need to find someone that can take your art to the next level. And you take him to the next level. I mean, this is the way. This is the way to do it. I don't have names right now, to mention.
All good.
But, it can be Tizake and maybe Dario, maybe I don't know, some people there, and so there are so many artists, friends that I follow. That I don't know how it's going to be, I don't know. There are some interesting artists there that it will be nice to make collaboration with them.
Well, I'm excited to see some of these collaborations you've got coming up, so that'll be good. Well, this is one of the things I also wanted to make sure anyone listening is aware of is what would be the best way for someone to either engage with you or view your upcoming pieces. I know you have a link tree off of your Instagram. What's kind of the best way that you are telling people to kind of engage with you?
Right now there is Instagram and Twitter. This is the main channels I use. Discord, I haven't opened yet Discord. Maybe I will open soon because I start to have a big list of owners. So maybe it's good to, and also, basically I'm engaging with my collectors by direct message, on Twitter. But for new people, it's Twitter, to see on Twitter, on Instagram. I share on those places. I'm very accessible to people. People contact me. People ask me questions. I'm answering everyone. Because I've seen some artists that they are selling artists and they are not looking at you at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not like that. I'm very accessible to people. Want to ask a question, they can ask. Yeah, why not?
So that was the conversation that we had with Yossi. I love this guy. Outside of him talking about his self-awareness and how he expresses himself, the thing that I really enjoyed the most about the conversation was him describing uniqueness and how he leverages that self-awareness to be able to draw inspiration from others without getting too bogged down in, worrying about how he compares to them or what others are doing versus what he sees, et cetera, et cetera. But his uniqueness is that he is very strong with who he is. No matter what he's doing, he expresses his consciousness in the same form and fashion, which allows him to kind of go explore his world and express himself in various ways. And that's where you see the layers of his artwork coming through, it is that exploration of who he is and what he likes to do on a daily basis. So we are going to be trying to have way more conversations like this with up-and-coming artists and with established artists around the world. So be sure to subscribe on Spotify, anywhere else podcasts are, as well as the YouTube channel. And then if you've not checked out the website or our Instagram, please do that. We'll be building out profiles for each of the artists that have been on the show and that will be on the show, so that in addition to listening to how they view the world and express themselves within their art, you can also stay updated with their latest drops, such as NFTs on Portion, events, news, things happening in their world. So please check out all of our pages to stay up to date with all of our artists. We'll see you next time.